In my last video we were talking about how to finance our buy-to-lets where we know that our buy-to-lets need some work doing to them. Because some lenders are a bit wary when it comes to financing a buy-to-let if the property needs some work doing to it, and some lenders pretty much want the property to be pristine, whereas others are a bit more robust, and as long as it fits certain criteria they will let you do quite a lot of work to the property and still give you a buy-to-let mortgage. But if this is something which is a concern to you, or if you find a property which for whatever reason doesn't qualify for a normal buy-to-let, there are ways of financing it. And in the last video we looked at a product by Precise, but the difficulty with that product is that the minimum valuation of the property is £100,000. That's £100,000 pre-refurb. Now if you're in London or somewhere like that, you might be thinking, well, that's not a problem. Other than that, the minimum valuation in London's £250,000, so maybe it would be a problem. What if we're looking at cheaper properties, or what if we want to buy properties in a cheaper area? Well, there's another lender which does a very similar bridge to let type facility, and that is Paragon. And the product they offer is a similar kind of thing. There's a bridge, which is a short-term loan. It's the loan that bridges the gap between buying the property and doing the refurb and then putting it onto what we could call proper or conventional finance, like buy-to-let finance. So there's a bridge element, and then you can go on to a buy-to-let mortgage, switch across, all sort of wrapped up in one package. Now interestingly, Paragon talk about 3 different levels of refurb. There's standard refurb, which is basically just a lick of paint as far as I can see from the blurb on their website. There's light refurbishment, which is under their definition where the floor area doesn't change, you don't need planning, and the cost of the works is going to be 25% or less than 25% of the cost of the property. And then there's a heavy refurb, which is where things do change and where you would need planning, etc, etc. So I'm assuming that for most of us the heavy refurb isn't really what we're after, although if it is, then you Google it, go onto their website and you'll see all the details of it. So if we're doing a standard or a light refurbishment, there's slightly different criteria, particularly around the bridge element. So the bridge for the standard, you can take out a 50% loan to value bridge and the interest rate is 0.45%, or you could have a 65% loan to value bridge and the interest rate is going to be 0.55%, or you could take out a 70% bridge and the interest rate payable is 0.65%. The light refurb is slightly more expensive, so the 50% bridge is going to be at rates between 0.55 and 1.1% per month. The 65% loan to value is going to be at rates between 0.65 and 1.15% per month. And the 70% loan to value is going to be at rates between 0.75 and 1.2% per month. Now in all instances, once the work's done, you can then refinance onto a Paragon buy-to-let mortgage at a loan to value of between 70 and 75%, and the usual buy-to-let loan rates will apply. Now I should say that the bridge for the standard refurb is for a maximum of 6 months, but the bridge for the light refurbishment can be for as long as 9 months if you think you're going to need that amount of time to actually do the refurb. The thing which makes this combination interesting though is that the minimum valuation for Paragon is £50,000. So that means that this is going to work well for those of us who are buying in cheaper areas where we're not going to qualify for the product which I was talking about in the previous video. So as ever, if you would like to talk to somebody about this particular product and find out whether it meets your needs, you will need to talk to a mortgage broker. You cannot go direct to the lender, even though I've told you who they are. If you ring up the office and say I want to take out a mortgage, they're not going to deal with you. Why? Because they need to know that you're getting proper advice so they don't sell you the wrong mortgage and get themselves into trouble. So you need to go through a good broker. If you have your own broker, that's great. You can talk to them about this particular product. If you do not have a good broker, then I'm very happy to put you in touch with my broker. All you have to do is email me thepropertyteacher@gmail.com, and I'll happily put you in touch. Just to be completely transparent, if you end up doing business with my very good mortgage broker, he will pay me a small commission. Now as far as I know, this doesn't affect you, because as far as I'm aware, he's not adding anything extra onto his fee in order to cover my little bit. He's just giving me a little bit of what he would have got anyway. So if you want me to put you in touch with my very good mortgage broker, just email me thepropertyteacher@gmail.com and he'll be able to take you through what you need in order to finance your properties. And if you come over to my website, www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, and click on Learning with Peter, you'll find a list of all of the resources which I've created to help you to become a successful property investor, including the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, my best-selling ebook in which I'll take you step by step through everything that I did when I started in property and how I created a sizable portfolio of property, paying me passive income to replace my job income having just been made redundant. And I did all of that starting with none of my own money. Really? Yes, I know it sounds like hype and you hear a lot of people talking about that kind of thing, but I literally started with none of my own money because having been made redundant, like many people in their 30s as I was at the time, I didn't have any savings to fall back on, so I had to find other ways to do it. And in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, I'm going to show you the system and the formula used by almost all successful property investors to create a multi-property portfolio producing passive income. In fact, in it, I'm going to show you everything that I did, including everything which I did right, so that you can copy me and do the same. And I'm also going to show you everything that I did wrong, so that you can avoid the mistakes that I made. And hopefully you'll be able to achieve far more than I did and far more quickly. Plus, as well as the ebook, you're also going to receive a special video series as a special bonus from me, plus an audio download of me discussing with my mortgage broker how to get the very best mortgage deals and raise all the finance that you need to help finance your portfolio. Plus, I'm going to answer the 12 most common questions which are asked by new and would-be property investors. So if that all sounds good to you, please come over to my website, www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, click on Learning with Peter, click on the link to the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, and once you've made your order, I look forward to sending you the link so that you can download your copy along with the free bonuses immediately. And until next time, here's to successful property investing.